get a chance to call. There are hundreds of them. And they specifically
so I'm
allege
back for the closing.
similar acts of fraud.
Closing statement.
Very similar to the witnesses that you heard.
Giuliani.
I find it puzzling that there seems to be such confusion about it. Maybe because of my background as a prosecutor, it's pretty obvious to me what happened here. The Democratic leader in Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or in Philadelphia, or in Detroit, or in Las Vegas, or in Phoenix, or in Milwaukee, or in Minneapolis, or in Atlanta, didn't wake up on election morning when all those mail ballots were going to come in and decide we're going to shut out all the Republican poll watchers, or as many as we can. I mean, we've been counting absentee ballots forever. I did it myself when I was a young lawyer. Republican sits on one side, Democrat sits on the other side. We don't have any problem with it. This was uniform shutting out of as many Republicans as possible. In Pennsylvania, 890,000 ballots were cast secretly, with no Republican getting a chance to take a look at the ballot.
890. That's 900. That's almost a million. Oh my gosh.
There are 600,000 more votes counted, mail votes counted, than mail ballots they can find. This is a swindle.
Are you serious?
It's a con job. It's a theft of an election.
Woo.
And it was carried out by the same method in the city of Detroit. And with all due respect to Detroit, several analyses of corrupt cities, my city, New York, comes ahead of Detroit. So I'm not saying this with any pride, but it happens to be one of the most corrupt cities in the United States on any measure. I just checked online here.
What? Los Angeles
fourth, fifth, third, seventh,
sees those
several
cities,
times New York comes in
except
ahead.
for
so I wonder why the confusion
no
about what
because
happened.
they shut them down. Los Angeles
stole
is
the
even
election.
worse.
Not the first one they stole.
Right.
Not the last one they're going to steal unless you do something about it. But you do
something!
Not.
Rise up.
Let's see how we're going to fix it. You've been fixing it for years, and it hasn't gotten fixed. They've been stealing elections for years. And this time, they got a chance to steal it really big because of the ridiculous mail ballot that was created. Back in 1960, the mayor of Chicago, the most corrupt city in America, by the way, just in case, on all the lists, by far, we can all feel better. Chicago's the most corrupt.
Yo, who will elect that Bigfoot? Oh my
He
God.
helped to steal the 1960 election by holding back the ballots in Chicago, so the Republican ballots would come in, and then along with a gentleman named Sam Giancana, they got the ballots they needed to elect their candidate. Last year, 2 years ago in Florida, the same thing happened in Palm Beach and Broward County. It was a 2-point election, Senate, governor. Palm Beach County took 2.5 weeks to report. And finally it ended when they caught a truck like the one coming from Bayport, New York to Philadelphia. They caught a truck in Jacksonville headed to Palm Beach with 100,000 ballots.
Wow. Where did it get that?
That pretended to be Palm Beach ballots. But they were done up in Jacksonville. And then they had to end the election, and they prosecuted the people in Palm Beach. And remember, this year,
are you serious?
No problem in Florida.
I didn't even hear that.
I mean, you were counting for an eternity.
Ha!
Florida was over with that night because the governor had the courage to straighten it out.
Oh,
He had the
good.
courage to
We
prosecute
need that,
the people
Governor.
who committed the fraud. You don't end fraud by prospective measures to deal with fraud. You know how you end fraud? You put criminals in jail. That's how you end fraud.
Yeah! Let's get Giuliani to prosecute
You have
them.
the courage.
Prosecute them.
You have the courage.
No, we have to
to
really
say that certification
enact
that
the
was done
martial
by your
law.
state is a complete phony.
because this is
It's a false
treason
statement made to the United States government. Those are prosecutable, by the way.
against
That's
our
not the vote
government.
by any
Against our
means
government.
in Michigan. That's not the vote in Michigan.
I
I don't know what the vote in Michigan is.
don't know what it is. I know it. I know it.
100,000 votes off from what the real vote in Michigan is. And you heard the anger and the upset of your citizens. They seem to have more passion about it than you do. They figured out what happens because they live on the
I'm laughing
street.
because what he's saying is true. There's so many weirdo rhinos.
About what happens in Detroit.
Evil
They steal
Democrats.
elections in Detroit.
Representative, you'll have an
And they
opportunity
steal elections
to ask a
in New
question.
York, and they steal elections in Boston, and they steal elections in Philadelphia.
In
And the
California,
Democrats were smart
Los
enough to
Angeles.
pick 10 corrupt cities to play their game out. 10 cities
Well, it's
in which
very
they could
bad
get away with it.
here. It's
10
very
cities
bad
in which
here
they
in
could go into
California.
court and
Wish
find
they
a hack
would.
judge that will decide anything they want.
Well, that's
So,
really bogus.
I mean, we
Well,
can
they
live in
need
this
to
strange world all we want,
forensically
but we're getting at the
audit
point where
every one
our
of
freedoms
these
are
cities.
beginning to be eroded.
It's not
Our right of
beginning.
free
It
speech
has
has been
begun.
eroded
That's
substantially
how you
by
think
the censorship
55
imposed by
electoral
big tech,
vote goes
big
to
media,
California.
big
That's
corporations,
bullshit.
and the Democrat Party.
That's right. Say it.
Our right
The
of freedom
big
of
tech
religion,
media and the Democratic Party
with the
and the
ridiculous
foreign
dictatorial
government.
way in which the
Iran,
COVID
China.
regulations are imposed on us.
And now you want to add
Right.
Russia to it.
They like
Thank
to be
you.
dictators, these Democrat governors. They're taking
Assholes.
away our right of the freedom of religion.
Assholes.
Those
Like
are
Gavin
basically
Newsom.
the two
Lock
reasons
him
we
up.
founded
Lock
this
up
country.
Gavin
Oh, by
Newsom.
the way, there was a third. The right to freely and honestly elect our government. And they're taking that away from us, too.
Yeah.
It is not.
We
it is not. It should
have
not
nowhere
go
to
without
turn
notice.
to. We
And
have
you
to
should spend
fight
time
back.
taking
Our
a
backs
look
are
at
against the
Pennsylvania.
wall.
Look at Philadelphia. Look at Pittsburgh. Look at how eerily similar it is to what these people testified to.
It is
Read the rest
frightening.
of these and see that there are hundreds of
Frightening.
people that back them up. That election center in Detroit was a disgrace. You should be ashamed of it as citizens
Yes,
of Michigan. I would
that's
be ashamed
right.
of it if it was in New York. And it could easily be in New York.
Well,
And I would do everything in my power
it's
to
in
make
California.
sure it never happened again.
So come
And
help
I
us.
would never certify